A very good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to this Youth Talk Show. We welcome you all. This is our show, the Youth Talk Show. It's a question and answer show. We ask questions about youth, questions maybe pertaining to stuff. And I'm glad that you have tuned in. I'm so humbled that I'm also here today. With me, I have my co-hosts, my fellow youths. Without wasting time, let them introduce themselves. You're welcome.
It's a very wonderful and beautiful day here at New Eden Ministries International. Today, it is indeed a very good day. I'm so humbled to be in this place, and I pray that whatever we ask, please, it helps you out. I'm Happy Barut Nambozo. Thanks for tuning in.
Praise God. By name, I'm Malava David, a minister in New Eden Church. You tuning in is not a mistake. It is your blessing you need and deserve. Thank you.
First of all, Almighty God. So all in all, my name is Maurice Benassi. Thank you for
Praise the Lord, our viewers. I'm an evangelist and also gospel artist. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Be blessed.
You're welcome, Gerard. Thanks. Thank you so much for coming. With us, we have of this place, Dr. Bishop Ivan Mulepi. Let me allow him to greet you, dear viewers.
abundantly humbled, exceedingly glad to be in this place on this day. We bless the name of the Lord. A lot is going on in our country, but I want all the youth to be calm. You can never forget to do one thing. Never forget to be patriotic. No matter how much you say, ideas and opinions for which you have a right to do so, the youth tomorrow must find you in this country.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming, and to our dear viewers. Like I told you, it's a question show. Our mentor, Dr. Bishop Ivan Mulepi. And let me ask my first question, Doctor. I'm going to base on like the youth. If you see like in school, I've actually witnessed this, Doctor. How would you address this issue of teachers dating with students in school? It really affects a student. They don't concentrate. Teacher would mess up a student at school. That is very bad, according to me, Doctor. As a religious leader, Mzee, how would you address such?
What you feel is bad, and the bad that we expect to happen.
Yes.
These two different things must be brought into consideration first. We are living in a social blame. There's a too much blame game.
Yes.
But society should understand that the people should be prepared for challenges, for encounters out there. Look at some of them prepared for the worst roads.
Yes.
You cannot imagine that, of course, bad roads, it would be also, if we are to address it from your approach. According to me, I feel it is bad. According to me, even me, I feel others have gone ahead of that by creating a car that can manage the terrain. What is important is, before we talk about, because you see, both upbringing have they encountered.
Yes.
We are talking about the consequences, but we're not talking about the cause. What is important is articulatively in their child being. Some of these teachers that you are blaming, a teacher doesn't cause. Some of these students break their virginity in P5. Some of these students break their virginity in P4. By the time they get, for example, to senior 6, they are meticulously very mature. What is the upbringing? What kind of upbringing has somebody has gone? So we are dealing with damaged people. Yes. We are dealing with problematic people. And And when you're dealing with damaged people and problematic people, this is bad. Because even those who do them know that they are bad. But then the greatest solution is in somebody's upbringing has affected them to manipulate their attitude towards something. And so brought up in a dysfunctional home, you have never seen your parents wed. You have never seen your parents love each other. You have never seen your father tell you that I love you, manipulates you, does this. Now when you go up into such a section, you will still meet, there are two manipulators that will meet. The manipulator who is a student, manipulator who is a teacher. So they will meet, and that's what you expect. As we need to go back. In fact, this is not only a church thing. It needs to cut across all religions, whether Muslims and what. We need to go back and deal with the, without dealing with the family setting. All these things up there, of pity, a show of, a shock and surprise. But the reality is, a nation is a nation of a family.
Yes.
If the family is weak, then are a reflection of the nation's family. And until that is addressed, all these things we hear, this one is disorganized. We put very devastating laws, maybe, of the family is addressed so that somebody's upbringing is without tension, is without panic, is without misinformation, is without misguidance, then they continue to, but they will happen separately.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And on the same issue, Doctor, about school, this is a situation, teacher maybe and the student may be quarreled with the teacher, but in most cases, Doctor, the blame will not be put on the teacher, but in most times, everything. I've actually experienced this, Doctor. There is a friend of mine, a teacher beat her and blaming the teacher. They were actually defending the teacher, and the student was being harassed. Doctor, how can we as students handle that?
You see, again, this is the problem with our, because it is their right to politics. It is their right to behave in any way, and they will not be subject to certain restrictions, rules. This is the kind of generation we are dealing with. We are dealing with a generation that want to be ministers without being mentored. We are dealing with a generation without seeing how wrong they are. Now, what do you expect? You want a culture to start whereby a teacher is blamed in the presence of students? Is that? You see, me, I'm a realist, as opposed to you people that sugarcoat things. Me, I'm a realist. I go down to the ground and tell you what is applicable and what is not applicable. That's why my way is. I'm not an existentialist that talks about, you see this which is existing, and you see how it is existing in this way, and you know it should be this. This is bad. So people are about saying that something is bad, but they never look at the reality against the teacher. That is the reality. And as well, no, I've not seen it. But we're dealing with students in this generation. For us, it even never dared in our times when we were growing up at school. You never dared to bring. We're dealing with a dilapidated generation, a generation that thinks that they are right. I mean, what would you expect with a student who has never been disciplined at home? How do you expect them? Somebody talks about them at home. They are impossible. They are all over. They talk back to the people the way they want. Naturally, this teacher will try to look at the school environment but then finds that this student is living what we call a life of laissez-faire. I am free. I am do this. A student can go and sleep out. They want to bring the home into the school setting.
Yes.
And again, that attitude, the teacher must be blamed. I think you are living in an utopia, the wildest world. If you think that the teacher is going to be blamed, extreme measures such as the teacher screaming at the student, that is obvious. It is impossible. But for these other small ones, it is impossible. If students are waiting, it is better for them to prepare themselves in the first instance and not fall into a conflict with teachers so as to safeguard that conflict. Understand? Like, for example, today's youth who are stoning at the police. I mean, what? But stoning at the police is risky. If they identify you, it means that you are not going to fight against that one policeman. You're going to fight against the whole police force, because policeman with the teachers. They will solidify against. Which teacher will want a student that brings up an accusation against another teacher and they chase you? How would they look at you in the school? They will look at you with suspicion. They will look at you with mistrust. They will know this child is a danger zone. And if you feel comfortable that you have led to a teacher, and I think this is the reality, like I said, me, I'm a realist, that
Yes.
About that very issue of teachers who force students because it is one thing, but then they promise them some high grades, and if they refuse to give in into other teachers demanding for low grades, and you have to have many retakes and something like so, which is made at some campuses, whereby you say lecturer serious. Moreover, a fresher, like that they call them, the first year student, we to do this, just be rest assured that you text the semester, and then of course your text will affect you at the graduation part of it. How would you address such a situation?
you see, that is different. Like I said, students must have a mechanism of destroying the teaching system. You see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Because you see, the reason why I'm concerned is when you say, when you have addressed it in evil. But when you say, why don't teachers be blamed? If that is solidarity against the students, because they will understand that the students want to put them in some sort of court system, and that will make them violent. But they should be that can be able to get rid. The best person to deal with a particular teacher or lecturer should be the lecturer themselves. Yes. Students should be able to point out a lecturer with so that they use that one to deal with the fellow teacher, other than it coming from the students' wing this way. For years it's been happening in universities. For years it's been happening in universities. For a very, 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 very long time it's been happening in universities. I students, and then later dumped them. It's been happening. It's been happening. But then how can it be addressed? There need to be a student system that can look at integrity. The second thing is, these students that are forced into doing what they don't want, do they really not want to be addressed? Because today we have very few people with integrity. Do you know that? We have very few students with integrity today who will say it is this that has brought this. Teacher blackmails student. Student also blackmails teacher by saying and telling other fellow students that lecturer loved me. I refuse. That lecturer loved me. I refuse. Creating an environment of hostility between the system. 1 John 5:19 warns us and says, in the world we will find trouble. There is the sweep of the wicked one. If what is your go into a wicked system and you survive. That is very, very important.
Yes.
Because you see, you have to make a choice. Either you are going to pull down the system or you are, but fighting one single lecturer will be hard.
Yes.
Because if there are about 6 lecturers who are doing so, going for one of them means the other 5 are under threat. And so they will unite against you. So you need to make a choice. And if you have to fight the system, you have to use teachers or lecturers to fight that same system. And then avoid this confrontation between them. I like the Bible so much. It's my greatest book on you to sin. Cut it off. So you are dealing with a part that has evil. And you are using that which has authority. The thing is, I want us to have a certain attitude towards evil. This attitude of like, how can this happen? I think that's the wrong attitude. How can I do? What can I do? It's a better, more advanced level. How can this happen? Yeah. But you know consequences of matters. I like very much to deal with the consequence of the matter. To handle a situation as a certain situation should not come. You are just like saying, today will not come to darkness. Is it possible? So it is not possible that evil will not be there. There will be evil removed. So we need these measures and mechanisms of dealing with the problem strategically, to deal with it so that it doesn't die. Beat a snake and it runs away and escapes.
More dangerous.
Thank you. Still on that point of dealing with campus. taught him, still nothing changed. He used to do the same thing. What we did, this guy was set up live on Indies. If you saw that news, that guy was caught. So,
You see now that is destroying the system. You see what I'm talking about? You are destroying the system. And thank God you bring out two phenomenal points. Point number one, you tried everything and showed the solidarity within the system, how corrupt the system is. You see, when you are dealing, for example, with corruption, imagine corruption has a net, different sections of society. Every police station has a corrupt officer. Every office has a corrupt officer. And they have that network whereby the bank, and then they telephone the police. They say, person such and such is coming to report. Within their network, so they go and report to the right policeman. Which right policeman will kill the case? Now, what you did, and this is what I'm forget, you dealt with the system. By exposing the system, you handled it rightly. But that which you were doing did not. And once you confronted him, he went in to destroy others. He went in to capture others. But that is what I mean by sitting and dealing with the system. You are dealing with the system. You are now, if for example, in today's technology, social media, it has even made it very easy. In a more civilized way, I would have wanted you to have been pointed out at least a lecturer of integrity. There should be a lecturer of integrity in the whole campus. They cannot movement. So that, because there is also a lecturer who is tired of another lecturer, but they don't have a kickstarter. They are also tired. There's also a teacher who is tired of a certain teacher. And they are saying, this teacher. So involving so that you destroy the system is important. And as you do like that, it would also be very important that to be nationalistic. So you deal with the vice once and once for all. So that NBS does not only capture one section, it captures also other sections. When you build a network, that is the best way to approach it. But if you go single-handedly, and then it will come down. But then also, having dealt with it, but you also need to understand that a system also like by psychotic people who are mentally not okay. And that is the first thing, the second thing. The other thing, but people use witchcraft. People use sorcery. They fortify themselves with evil powers. People are in a Illuminati. It's strange that people in this century, people use it. And so you could also be able to, as you deal with this system, now the reason of why you have to bring in like a religious leader to also pray. You deal with that man and you are dealing with an evil person. And then after you see a person in authority can come after you in different ways. So if you deal with it also by fortifying it, involve the religious leaders, bring in the chefs, bring in the pastors, is destroying us.
On the same basis, this is where you as a teacher, the head of teachers says a teacher is never on the wrong. And one student goes and tries to complain about the wrong. How best can I, as a student, deal with such? Because if the head teacher can say a teacher is not on the wrong, then how isn't that oppressing one section?
We are saying that we condemn and that it is entrenched. You see our point? Our point is that that exists. And what I don't want us to drive this conversation into just to condemn and not look for you. I feel for you. Recently I've been a student also. I know what it means. I feel me feeling for you. Again, there is a reality that I tell you. And you are going to come out of nowhere to destroy that system which has spent years and years and years and years there. You understand what I'm saying? It needs proper arrangement. It needs proper organization. You know? Very much to work with. I believe in the youth so much because I believe that they are with the opportunity what others fail to correct, to handle what others fail to handle. But the truth of the matter is, there is somebody above the headmaster. But are you going to go into the DEO's office and report the headmaster? You see? But are you sure the people you are demonstrating with, once you walk 100 meters, you will look behind and they are still there. Or you reach revolutions have to be fought by the revolutionary alone. Take for instance Nelson Mandela. Dynamics of fighting for independence in South Africa. He chose to go to prison. And he's in that state. I understand and I feel that youth thing. I feel that youth vigor. We have all been there. Well, this man is wrong. We need to do something about it. Why does he think he is? No, we go. But how are you going to handle? Prepared for things like I may sacrifice my career. I may sacrifice my education. I may lose this. These are things you have to know that they can easily happen to you. Is not agreeing. And this is the head of the school. It's a very difficult situation. Because I've given you the other opportunity is to go ahead of him, go to the DEO, who is ahead of him, mobilize other consequences, especially in this tear gas section, and some schools have proximity to police. It just takes only 15 minutes before all of you are querying. I don't know whether you have ever experienced tear gas. Yes, just if you are going to, there are approaches, writing an article about the matter, dealing with the press, dealing with religious leaders, handling it from human rights groups. That would be better other than this idea. What I want us to kill is this used passion here. That approach is saying, no, it's bad. We must do something. I'm right. That youth.
This one now has come to an extent that to someone to be listened to, or to face out his something that is hard, it is to go on the road and stride so that everyone takes your attention to come. Okay, I've seen that it has helped so many people. And this is the world now.
You give me an example.
For an example, in the north, these people who undressed themselves because of their land was set. After undressing and stood on the roads,
I think I followed up the put under some form of covenant.
at least.
It's not at least because you see,
it anyhow.
at the end of the day, you see, when you're dealing with evil work, evil can buy time. You know, like a court case, they can take you to time. Don't you know that, like, for example, I'll give you an example. There are two people who stood for LC5 chairman, Bari. It was so hectic. And so one took the other to court. So the court said it was listening. They had a case to answer. And everybody was satisfied. The court sessions, they are postponing it, until now. The other one, meantime, is ruling. The other opponent is ruling up to the 5 years. And the 5 years are over. You see, people are not understanding what is the news behind the news. That you can fight over land and they give you cover. And then they come out and deal by. I'm talking about a system,
yes,
a system that can not work.
Yes. But now what can we do to raise
As a religious leader, I advise on people in a strange way. And let me tell you, everything you do, whether you want to start up an ideological war, an opinion, there is one thing you must make sure. You see, that is the first and most important thing you have to do. Whatever you have to do it in such a way that you stay alive. The world today. And I used to tell the same people, I said, do you see this technology? We love it so much, but it will be the reason that destroys us. Understand what I'm saying? For example, we want to demonstrate over something, but now they are okay? Now they will grab me on the CCTV camera, and they will study me very well, my picture. And they will come for me alone, the one they saw on the CCTV camera. Come for you in the village, take you to a certain chamber, you reveal all of you out. The question is, we should have an ideological battle that causes us to first and foremost stay alive. If we are to have, we need three things. We need time, we need space, and we need matter. You need space. You see, if you decide to, for example, now like a teacher who is rebelling against you, like I said, you need to create space. Space in such a way that if one school coordinated with one voice. That is easier to handle. Instead of handling it from one point of view, they expel you and then write your name to all the other schools as being a terrible person. You need space, create space. This is what I'm telling you. Create space, and to create space, build capacity and capability, and then create matter, the things that are tangible. Things that, but with that said, I'm a realistic person. I know what it means by telling you. You see, like supporting football. One of the reasons why these things of football amaze me. You support a team passionately, the answering thing of like you are saying, our team did better, but it did not take the trophy. You know? We shall win next. That I feel it doesn't. Let me tell you, although Arsenal took the car, Man U was a much better team. If that is the reason for strength, if that's the reason for comfort, then that is now not ideological.
Still, Dr. Alba, still on the same point. How can I use religious leaders to help me go through some issues? An example, I've been facing a problem since 2018. If you heard about the scandal of the white man who died from the hotel, I was involved in that case. But I was involved in that case because I was working for the hotel. Since 2018, I'm struggling with that case. It was a manslaughter. It was changed to murder case in the way that other people have involved in money. They are aware of the case. They want to pin the case on me. Now me as an innocent person, and I get help from the religious people to help me with that case that is involving again big people who can't even listen to that.
No, first of all,
Religious leaders.
first of all, you have just said, what has the insurance helped you? What has that we go, it is, what has it helped you? Nothing. We are dealing with a system that requires that. Now, as far as the religious leaders are concerned, I want you to understand one thing. Any voice that is to help you, you must ensure that that voice is also not oppressed. Help an oppressed voice. Eh? Now, wait a moment. Now, here is an oppressed voice, okay? From an oppressed voice. That is not possible. I think you bring up something to be careful. The first thing is, while you want to build such a system, a court system, which is so corrupt, you don't need, and this is true, that's the first thing. If somebody is using money, which you don't have, you don't also look for money. It's not possible. Because you see, if you are dealing with a big matter, you can't. But let me tell you one thing that can save you. A talent can check money. See, also your talent, people haven't developed the areas of their talent. Areas of your talent can help you check an unjust system. Fresh people. They had a battle. I don't know whether people heard about the battle they had on the land and what. But you see this man, he uses the popularity to you. You need to come up now with the talent. You need to mold your talent. Especially if you know that I cannot use this line. I cannot use this is very corrupt. How can I use this line? It's not possible. I build my talent. Because when I build my talent will Let me finish and then you ask the question. My talent will build a voice for me. Now, I don't have the money. I don't have I need to build my talent. Because my talent also takes time. Everything that you do, you see some people, we have delayed to build our talents. We wasted a lot of time forgetting that we were neglecting the voice behind. Because with the voice, you can get access. And you need connection. This is the world of networking. You need connection. This is the world of network. You can't operate without a network. You need network. You need to go to a bad network. You just go into your phone and you look at the people who are there. Chaco 1, Border 4, man in the Fene. You just understand that your working does not have the capacity. The network involves sacrifice. It involves humility. It involves breaking down. Even if I have to go and wash clothes for somebody at the day is right, and I get a problem in Iganga, who can I call in Iganga? That's what they call network. Who can I call in Iganga? Who can I call? We can give a call and I say, please, I am network. When you're on Facebook, when you're on WhatsApp, are you building a network? Are you just following? There are those they call followers. Are you following? Are you building a network? If I had a problem today, is there somebody that can project and look at incidences like this? Assuming I died today, what kind of funeral will I have? You see, this is what I'm talking about. What kind of funeral do I have? Can I build a? Can I have a funeral that I had contacts? That's the thing. And then the third thing is, don't ever undermine the spiritual aspect. You see the world we live to, people that you see who have callous hearts, people that you see who have wicked hearts, that is a spiritual problem more than a physical problem. That's why you can see somebody, even when they know that this case is wrong, they will still, by hook or crook, that requires a spiritual solution.
Thank you. I've understood what you've said. And I think thinking of the government, all the situations that we are going through as countrywide, human rights are violated, that can push them to the right way. Then what can we do? How can we deal with that?
Also, you see, then there is one thing that I need to say and summarize. You cannot stop an idea whose time has come. If the idea will result into results that we want, but if the idea's time has not come, again we have too much lamentation. You know, so to me, I don't want that lamentation thing of just. I never wanted that, and it has helped to me. I always want solutions. I always want to be encouraged by the reality. You cannot stop an idea whose time has come. If the time of something, nobody can stop it. But if its time has not come, you will injure yourself in the process of trying to change around an idea. And don't forget the statement of the day. Be ideological, have powerful opinions, be visionary, but make sure you are right. Because there is no dead body that can. They asked Nelson Mandela a question one day. They told him, they said, the journalists asked him, they said, one day when you were dead, it doesn't matter whether I go, but whatever I have started today will come to pass. So they asked, were you really willing to die? Nelson Mandela said, let me tell you the reality. I was never willing to die at all. So I wanted to depart with glory. The truth of the matter is, I wanted to stay alive to see my idea going through. But now I knew, because they had promised me that I was going to die. So I said, how can I do it? But deep down in me, there wasn't any single night that I was not as afraid of dying. If you are afraid of dying, you will live to see your vision. Rather stay alive and stuff. Yes.
Dealing on the issue of that, us as youth, that's the best way we can.
You have to provide for it an opportunity. Many of you youth have talents, but the problem, we are living in a society today where there is too much multitasking. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. Because of the need to want to survive, because of the urgent need to want to survive. So we try to multi-using, but what is selling now is taekwondo. Let me go into taekwondo a little bit, but again, taekwondo is not selling right now. What is selling is music. Do you know that we have too many footballers today? You first of all have to understand that I said, and I said it from the beginning, I said, I am going to build churches. I will never drive a car because they have given me money from abroad. I said, everything that I need, I will get it where? Here. You see, you have to say, first of all, you have to have something you are living for. You don't have to live for anything. I cannot sell the independence of the African church at the expense of me for homosexuality. that will eventually come here and control, that will eventually come and say we helped you.
Yes.
But you can do something. You see, first of all, you provide for it and to specialize and identify. Even in music, what am I? Am I a rapper? Am I a soloist? Am I a producer? What am I? You don't have to sing because he who sings everything sings nothing. You have to be able to understand. Am I, Zuku or whatever. Am I, is that what is in me? And then you build the talent around specialization so that people will know they know who to go. But now, you see, there are many people, for example, who are in music, but people will ask you, what do you want? What should I come for? If I wanted, who are you? Because today you are singing, are you a dancer? Are you a musician? Because sometimes you get hold of the microphone, but you dance too much and more than you even sing. You only sing, who? It brands you. It brands you and ensures that this is who you are. Okay, now, in this way, okay? Hardly do you see pastors that organize and be asked questions. It's hardly because we are used to the traditional on the pulpit and preaching. But you know that this, even where I was in Kampala, there was a meeting and they encouraged me to talk to them. You understand what I'm saying? So who are you? You see, there are very many people who are not, they are not neither in this nor in that, and so they cannot get anywhere. So specialize by branding yourself. The second thing which is important is you need to add value to what you have branded. Because that value will go by the situation, the circumstances. You see, even the player of Dungu knows that even as I play Dungu, I need to add on a microphone. I need to wire this Dungu to the amp mix. Because now playing it live, so that's adding value on your talent. And for you to add value, you need to have some basic information about what you do. Because there are others that are where you are going. You need to consult them. You need to have them. You understand that they are going to where they are where I am going. They help me to add value. Now the last thing, which is important, very, very important on you, you must place in a place of resourcefulness. Quickly, for example, like, okay, let me use music. Like quickly, you go very fast to release a CD. Okay? Then you use the little money you have. I don't know whether you understand. Nobody will buy your CD. So you will go to the market and put there your CD, Shanks, VVV, whatever. But nobody knows you. So do you see how it is important that you first of all go and sing on an introduction? I would rather spend money and go and sing on an introduction, which has many people, other than going to what they will never understand. I would rather go through the circles of radio stations and I be on the fans club so that they know I'm a fan of this radio. I'm a fans club of this radio. Call in into those radio stations so that they recognize, they say, oh, Peter is a regular caller in this to sell my talent. So knowing that if Peter, who is a regular caller on our radio, now brings his CD, don't you think all the DJs will play it? Because I am blessed. Many of us don't put it there. But if we are waiting for opportunities will not come. And I'm telling you the truth, opportunities will not come. Because we are living in a society that are very, very rich. And the poor are very, very rich. So the issue is, how do I survive? There is a middle ground for the survivors. There is a middle ground. The ground of those who are neither rich nor poor. That's where you need to take your talent.
I have this question. Like, do you support parents who take children, most of the ones in high school, to single-sex, so the girls? Because been in a single-sex school, but yes, it has got its good deeds and then its bad deeds. And then on the good deeds, yes, we learn religion, we are taught good manners when we go out there. But on the other side, I realized that in the same school, there was homosexuality going on, and then girls of that school, muscle girls, and then they can do every nasty thing to just use that opportunity that I've been out. And then from my friend also, she also told me this experience of hers that she was moved from that school to another school. Teachers went ahead and they were all against them. They supported other students, the remaining student fraternity, to be against them, saying they are lesbians, people from that school. And truthfully, some are lesbians. How can you help parents who are thinking of taking their children to single-sex school?
It's been evolving over a period of time. There was a time when I thought that a single to a boys' school, that time was there. But my thinking has been evolving over a period of time. I would rather now not go for where we take the child, but I would rather go for which child are we taking. Realize that where you take a child can influence this child, but cannot influence a child who you have prepared to take to a particular place.
Yes.
And I'm saying, for example, this is a generation of the youth, but they are not ready. They are not prepared for this situation. They have not spent too much time in reading. They have read through the school system, but they have not read how those people did what they did. And that is the same thing. I think the students need to be inspired before we take them. Do you know that there are parents, for example, who don't discuss, your child is in periods. This generation. In this case, it's very dangerous. You must be able to sit down with your child and you discuss these things. For example, you don't want to talk about her circle. I've told you people break their virginity before. This is the generation we are dealing with. And now the first thing should be information. Build the capacity of the person that I am to take at school. So next to school, I am taking a person who is prepared for that kind of capacity. I always want us to out of your home today. But you know that you dress also according to the weather. Because you understand you are going to be ready for the weather. Now, if we don't prepare these students and you take them, if you don't mentor, for example, I don't believe that a religious institution, whether a mosque or a church, is I believe that a religious institution is for making those people into who God said they are. You see, those are two different things. So that you build their potential. Now you see, like this talk show. Hardly do we have such things because other churches would regard. I think that church is worldly. But do you know the capacity we are building here? Do you know the talents we are building here? Do you know the people out there are watching? I was getting calls from a TV station here in Bad, and he was telling me I've been following those stations, those people. I now know I have workers. You see, we started this TV station. I believe in building somebody's capacity. I believe in building a student's capacity so that they go out there. As parents, of course, I need to guard my girl. My God, that is a very big mistake. Because a girl that to draw away from you. You can imagine how you guard. A parent almost died the other time. They took back the child. I was with the parent throughout, struggling to get fees, prayed with this parent. He went to school to check on the daughter. The daughter has left school 3 days ago to go home. And she left and said that one of the relatives and is asking for the daughter. And he said, your daughter missed. We gave her a cheat of 4 days. Actually, she's coming back tomorrow. So imagine if you build somebody's capacity, I may not succeed in making you not mess up, but I will succeed in helping you to handle the mess when you fall into it. So we should build the capacity other than just saying you don't go in that single school, you don't. If you punish a child and you say, for us then, they would punish us and lock you up in a room. And it was a punishment. The whole day. But they lock up a child with their smartphone in the room. They will be through the phone. So that's no longer discipline. So we need to build the capacity of someone. And how do you do it? Secondly, The children need to be mentored in such a way. You see me, I want to talk to you. I first start by talking to you. Then the reason why I distance you is to want to see, Tabiba, have you grown? Have you grown enough for you to come and say, Dad, we talk over. Grown to that level, then I still have a problem. I still have a problem. Because the issue is to turn you into an adult. An adult talks over issues. A child cries over issues. You understand? We live in building capacity. Other than this preventive measure and mechanism, it doesn't work. Because you may take us still, there is homosexual even in the mixed. It is there. In the it is there.
Also,
Yeah. Because look at that. Bring out another important schools when it is taking place everywhere in society, in the community, in the churches, in the mosques. So we have to teach people to put on their masks. You understand? Because it is masks, so that we guard against it. Other than single-handedly saying it is only in school, it is only here. It is even in the community. Yes. You get worried when you see two boys who are abnormal friends. You start to watch, you say, but why is the evangelist and why a boy and a girl walking there and we say, but even today when we see two boys walking while touching them, we look again the second time. Isn't it? We say, those boys are friends, they are okay. But now, if we see a boy walking home, the first thing people ask nowadays, do they have girlfriends? That's the question. That's the question. Do they have girlfriends? If they don't hear, then they know there is a problem. So the problem is why. So people know. And the capacity, we must build it in such a way. I like the way Ame builds capacity in someone. They don't only teach you how to, but they also teach you what to do when you are defeated. You also have to teach of the world defeat them. How do they arise out of that situation? That is important. You know, I was the first church which is not just people. Pastors fought me, they said, I'm tolerating sinners. But my reasoning was simple. When a child gets pregnant from a church, we chase them to go where?
Refuge.
But now I am seeing there are people also who are not just. So I recently I was asking pastors, hey, what happened? You also don't just people. Because I think that we own up our message, do the prevention, and then you know that somebody will have to move from position number 1 to position number 5, but still they have to. You understand? Yes, build their capacity. Very important.
okay. Technology is good, like you said, but then it has its own evils. Also, recently I was reading some article somewhere that was posted. There was this mother who had a daughter. Of course, the daughter is always busy on phone. Then the mother is not certain of what she's doing, but then the daughter sleeps late in the night. So one time the mother decides telling her to leave the phone behind, and then she gets hold of the phone only to check. She takes notes, she dates big men. The girl was only 15, but imagine talking to older men who are even worthy of being the grandees, and mother is overwhelmed by everything to be doing such things. And even other mothers actually came up saying the same thing, like their children have been spoiled by this generation because of the phone. They were like, yes, it's a good thing they have bought for their children phones, but at what age? What age do you think a person should have a phone? And that age, like, do you think mothers have to?
You know that my first degree is in education. It's a Bachelor of Arts in Education. But there's something that recently I discovered when I visited a certain school, that they told me to go and guess that the history I used to teach has evolved, it has changed. There is a way we used to teach Napoleon Bonaparte, and there is a way they are teaching Napoleon, and it has changed completely. It goes you to this truth that, and that's why I wrote a document, by the way, that I wrote to the Ministry of Education. I just want to post it, and I'm suggesting this, that why don't we teach children? Too many people learning, students are learning, children are learning, but who teaches parents? because parents are overwhelmed. You see that situation, it's for it. Parents need to get some scared. Parents were mentored. They could mentor you and tell you this is how you handle a child, this is how you handle a child. But that mentorship of parents died. Yet the world has been evolving. Now, in a document which is called Parental Skills, I suggest advancement of technology. Many parents are technologically illiterate. You see us talking about the child on the phone, but many parents are very illiterate. For example, there are parents who Facebook and WhatsApp. That's what they think. But do you know that we have over 50 social science? And this is not, they are not aware of it. So you will check the child, they are there and they are peaceful. So you think just because you have your child with you on Facebook and you can go to their timeline and you see these decent photos, try Snapchat. It is the problem. That's when you see this is the problem. Technological advancement has led to the parents being technologically illiterate. The second point that the parental age of long ago was of course properly. It was impossible, for example, to have an uncle who is younger than you. But today we have children who are older than their uncles. Yes, now you're a grandmother right now. They are who are calling you grandmother right now. Which was, I suggest I say, because of the change in the social stratification, these parents need to be told, okay, now, what will you tell that child? Now, grandmother, what will you tell that child? Because now there's an issue. Grow up, you know that that child is going to catch up with your generation. And that child will get to a certain point where you almost look like you are the same age. So what will you do now? Now, you and your grandchild one day are all going to be in the labor ward producing. You see, this is the strange thing that is happening. So I said, there is need for us to have proper, both formal and informal parental skills, whereby if we can create all these groups, there are too many groups today, we can also go informally and teach these parents, and they understand. Attach it to the educational system, but also attach it to the formal system from LOC1, so that how to coexist. We don't have uncle, brother thing. It's just WhatsApp, and they are talking to an uncle. WhatsApp. That when we broke the fiber of a society breaks down, there can never be order in a society. The third thing that I propose in that document of mine said, we are in a generation whereby there is a double jeopardy. What do I mean? Parents and our children, we have met in the same generation. We are parents while we are not yet old. And that's why you see today, you go to a disco, you meet a parent and a student. That's why you're on Facebook, you meet a parent and a child. We are freely. So we have, this is a collusion, a generation of collusion. The parents, so there's need for training. And the third thing that I suggest is government must not shy away from this obligation. Government should understand that they are in the society. Government should invest in the family. This is my suggestion. Government should invest in the family. Government from the family should track where is the child sleeping, what is they doing. In other countries, for example, when you produce a baby, it is an issue. This baby must have been digested. They don't want to find illegal babies. But today people produce push twins, and these ones grow up and they are not in the system. They are never immunized. Now you look at people who are not in the system. What will they do? And the children are not in the system. Now these children who are not in the system, education, formal education, those skills, they'll be able to come register these children so that they are tracked, so that government knows how many children are we dealing with per family. And security organizations, ESO, RISO, what. They can also help us to track who are newborn children, so they can help. That's my
We have really had a wonderful time. This show is just one of a kind. We have really enjoyed it today. Dear viewers, please, you can share this broadcast. Invite friends. Very important to both you and your child. I'm going to invite two more questions. and we wind up.
Doctor, I would wish to ask, do you advise parents that buy smartphones for kids, like primary kids, to deal with the smartphone? Media has become a problem.
You see, this is what I answered that question. Maybe I didn't point out that point. The truth of the matter is, I will not buy my child a smartphone, and the neighbor is now the smartphone to my child because they are playing together. The neighbor is the one now teaching. Do you know what is on Facebook? You remember you've gone to work, and the child. So your child will open up an account. Parents.
So me, I'm suggesting this. How do you see if the government put medias?
You see, you cannot, because there are international laws that govern. Here, they put tax on social media, but you cannot stop it because it is governed by international laws. Eh? It's like COVID. You can't stop social media. It's governed. Once you put certain restrictions, it is governed. What you can do is to work with the social networks to avoid like pornographic material, and they have done a lot of good work in trying to remove pornography from the media. We can train the parent because the parent is the enforcer of every law. A parent that is trained will be able to. You see, if you sit down with your child over Facebook, you take away curiosity. Do you know that a child, once you tell a child, don't, the more you tell them don't, is the more they develop the capacity to want to know, why have they refused me? For me, that's like pressure you and say, do this, it's the right thing. If I realize you are not going by the plan, because I trust my motives. Before I pressure somebody, I trust my motives. Now, if I pressure you, I step away because I understand the story of the prodigal father in the Bible. It's a very interesting story, whereby the prodigal father one day spoke to his son, my son, and then the son just got up and said, I want it is enough. And the father tried to say to her, there's nothing to do. I think what to do is you have your share. Sometimes you need to lose people to find your value. You understand? So he lost them. Instead, they went. While he was there, and he was in a pig stand, imagine a pig of all things. You are eating with the pig. That is the worst stand. Do you ever understand do you know how a pig looks? With a pig, he came to his awareness and said, let me go back home. So, don't you think that the parent lost wealth to get? Yes. Again, this was a trained parent. And that's why I'm believing in training of parents. It's important that we are trained, parents are trained to handle this.
Media. It is said that media has led to more acts in students and let me say youth. So how best can a youth handle? Because if there is mostly you tend to see it back, to go back up and see. So how best can I deal with such as a youth?
If you're scrolling down,
let me say, a lady dressed in a weird way. Observe.
That is true because like poles attract each other. Now, the truth of the matter is, pornographic material is so attractive because actually pornography is more addictive than a cigarette. When you start, it has an addictive power on the inside of you. That's one thing you need to know. It's an addiction, a strong addiction. It's more addictive than alcohol. Now, you bring up a very important factor. I'm scrolling and I find it there and I want to watch. What do I do? Do I close my eyes because I'm a Christian? Because I'm a Christian brother? What do I do? No, you don't. I think what is important is for us to approach those who put us. I'm telling you, whether you are a bishop or you are what, and you see a naked woman, and you are alone in the house. See me, I'm a realist, I tell you. You will go back again and look at one of the adverts that my friends are promoting, which is good. The father is watching a naked woman, and the kakiri comes and sees, and says, Mommy! Daddy watching a naked woman! And so the daddy pulls down the phone, and the mother comes, oh! And so the kakiri beats the father and says, why are you watching this? That is an awareness. It's an awareness campaign of pornography. Serious pornography. You need to be there.
Facebook needs to help to block the people that share. And they have said it, when Facebook started, it didn't have a program of blocking very, very deadly material. Block the picture. Yes, you can even, there's also a mechanism of reporting. So I think that is what is going to enable Facebook to become really socially thing. But again, you don't have to blame Facebook. Because there are people who are possessed. A person will just say, let me post this photo, whether what or what. Then you ask me also how to use social media. Now imagine, if you want to see whether you are doing share. You see, again, this is the challenge. Whether an idea, I like very much to read some of the ideology of the youth. In fact, when I go to the timeline, then I understand that this person is building their capacity. But all the time, you're on the social media, you are posting your photo, and you are showing how the world is on the top of the mountain. These are good, but in a world that has too many problems, it requires too many ideas. Don't forget that. In a world that has too many problems, in a country like our ideas, too many opinions, and you, the youth, are the vehicle of those ideas. Place your ideas on your timeline. People will read them. Don't be it's very important, but they don't sometimes want it. There are those who are watching and they are envious of you. When you step out for the difference, you see, many youth have to understand this. Your similarity that makes you a youth. It is your difference. But again, it works the other way around. That for you are different from others because you are evil. For you are different from others because you are arrogant. There should be that unique difference. It is that difference that you sell. But we are dealing with a generation of people that want to be similar. I am seeing today many youth, for example, are following Bobby Wine. Okay? And it is their right. But my question is, who is following Bobby Wine as the man? So that we know that if the man becomes the president, I become the prime minister. Oh, we are just following. Who is this one who is following? You should follow something strategically. You get what I'm saying? I want to be able to be this one. That is important. That is constructive following. And let us know. So and so is an educationist, but is following this one. So and so is Katuru Mwamba saying, I am supporting Bobby Wine. But when Bobby Wine goes through, I want to be a minister of art and music. That is constructive. I always tell people that if I'm your pastor and you are following me, you are following me in what capacity? What am I helping you? I want to be able to know a talented so and so is following me, but he has a talent. How can I help that talent? That is constructive following. Not this following of blind, of brainwashing. You are just following. You see my ability to help you. Is there anything that I've built in your life? Is there something I've added on to you in terms of your studies, in terms of talent, in terms of your gifting? When I preach to you, do you leave my sermon when there is a new thing that you are going to do? Or you stay and you talk and what is that which has inspired? You see, Elizabeth was pregnant with a miracle baby. Mary was pregnant with a miracle baby. When the two met, the womb started to split. Where is that difference? So show that difference on the social media. For example, if you tagged one of your good photos while you are looking after, instead of tagging this photo with all those Illuminati signs surrounding you, don't you think that photo where you are in a pottery where you are looking after chicken will inspire many people? So you see, it's looking like, what will it do? It will inspire. Okay, you say you are people power, but put for us a post there, you say, when people power goes low, we intend to reduce the taxes. It's following and you are saying again, and now you understand? And that's what I'm appealing to. You have to be constructive. That's how you use your social media. I hope you were here just for the right reason.
Like, I was at my workplace, and then Bobby Wine was passing the road. And after him passing, there was some serious tear gas, so I had to lock myself in my cell there. there was this other baby whom I was with inside at the age of 2 years. I was with him inside, and then he was busy crying because of the tear gas also. We are being tear gassed, or they're being tear gassed, but doesn't the police care about these other innocent souls that are outside there, and then they are doing their own business school, like schools are in town. So when they go point also tear gas, and you know what tear gas does, it can make you cry. Like there's no tomorrow. So I thought police is doing the right thing to some extent, and doing are just in their own world studying.
As a spokesperson of the born agains of Eastern Uganda, I have been passionate calling upon. See, they have those rotational leadership, and I've been engaging and telling them, why don't you sit down so that such mechanisms are put into place? Because not everybody who is there, that dialogue between the religious leaders and the police. I saw them the other day at the city. So that they set parameters that affect innocent people. Even stray bullets can jump off and affect innocent people. Because then you cannot differentiate between who is who and who is who. The problem is maybe when you also show to see and wave. Exactly. No. He says what and wave. And now in the process, when these people see you of the, you see, like I said, me, I'm a realist. I want us to watch this part, but also watch the other part of the people. You cannot. You choose on that day. Imagine on that day is when you put on red. So there are issues. There are issues that police may victimize all of the casualty. I'm trying to write a document, a book called Uganda, the Casualty, the Cash, and the Crisis. I want to explain those three things: casualty, cash, and crisis. Because they are very. You have to place yourself in the right place at the right time for the right purpose. If you were a victim, that's why we advocate and say, let the Interpreters Council sit down with the police and talk to them. You see, professional more than they respect the police. But you know that there is that professionalism in the army, that while they have found you in a particular place. But you see all these footages, sometimes there's this too much anxiety. You must also count anxiety as an important factor, which sometimes sparkles off tear gas. That anxiety rises up, and we were told that there is tear gas in the valley. We had to stop somewhere and take time and relax, because we thought we could enter the city. And they think we are also, and by the way, I was putting on rain. I'm going to stay there for some time.
Bishop, this lady is saying, like, you know, Bobi Wine is there. Why can't you close that show? Because when Bobi Wine will want them came to town then. Because, now why did she leave the show?
To see. Yeah. To see.
Our president.
No, people are closing. You should close it.
So
Because even kids, even this pregnant woman, she complains to the husband so much once, but the husband told her.
Again, this is what I'm talking to you about our youth today. They have slogans which are not inspirational. Me, I wouldn't think that is an inspirational slogan. Because you see, the slogan itself, when you pick a slogan which is violent, you know that they will respond with violence. We need to pick slogans that are inspirational. Because when you say, "Tuli struggle," how does that word appear in the ears of the citizen? Tuli struggle. Then I want to see Tuli struggle, and you haven't specified how are you in the struggle. But you have said Tuli struggle. So I think some of these norms, these norms, these mottos, these slogans we pick, we have to be careful. Some of that, and let me tell you, I will go back to the statement of the day. Be ideological. Be politically active. Support who you want. But at the end of the day, make sure you are alive. That is important. It's important. Because in order for me to make sure that I'm alive, then I will be able to guard myself and fortify myself. Be alive. By the way, do you agree that we cannot stop an idea whose time has come? But also, how about if you also have a struggle with a struggling idea? That is it. I think this country will not be again packed back into crisis. That's one thing. The force that you people, especially youth, are dealing with is skilled in military warfare. Unlike other countries, you see, you're talking about other countries. Our forces are skilled in military warfare. And when you have such a thing, you be on the watch, honestly. You be on the watch because you are dealing with somebody that is skilled. I've always given you an example. When I was in senior 3, I was the chief bullers. I used to lead the ones who bulls. And there was this senior one, or Roga from the north, very good like this. And so we went to bull him because every senior one that would come would bull. And because of bullying where in senior 2, in S3, I became the chairman. And so this boy Oroga slapped me very well. And I couldn't go back to deal with him. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to make an agreement with Oroga not to tell people that he slapped me, because how would people hear that the senior one slapped the chairman of the bullying? And my bullying stopped there and there. I think this is the norm that everybody must understand. Because you are meeting Oroga and you are still joking. They will slap you very well. And then you say to him, so and today there are people who are violent. When we say this, they say, oh, but you have to be right. That is the most important.
No, like, there's a time I was with my friend, like, we were going for dinner at around 6. So we went to a nice restaurant. We ordered the tea word. So we started talking. So the certain old guy saw us two of us. He did what? He told the lady himself that he go to those ladies and ask them what they want. So they asked us, that man and said, what do you want? Now my friend said, asked the lady, and now motoka. Yet this man wanted to offer us a drink. So I told her, the guy wants to offer us a drink. For you asking for that, do you want it? No, we want it. Again, the next day, like, we went out somewhere. So she saw a place, I want to worry parking. So I really don't know what this woman wants. Wants the car or what? How can I help that friend of mine? She's only she wants it, and she has nothing but only car. Wants men who want who have like half cars, what?
You know, one of the things that I have seen in this generation is laziness. And one of the fastest way for a lazy person is to have those ambiguous big plans. Because if the big plan is not in the heart, the big plan will be on the mouth. It must be inside the heart. And many of the youth are very lazy like that. They want things to be done for them. People don't have, you know that even we are living in a generation that even appreciating is a problem. Do you know that somebody giving you 2,000 shillings in itself, when you're a constructive person, you understand that it is a motivation of something. We are living in this day where we are trading who we are. Somebody thinks, because I'm beautiful, I deserve this. Not because I'm beautiful, you deserve me to do for you this. You see the two different things. I want somebody to challenge me with something that I don't deserve. But we are living in a generation whereby immediately somebody looks at somebody, they are tuning themselves, they are fortifying themselves, they are guarding themselves because they look at themselves as sources of productivity. If they see me, they'll give me what they want. If they see me, they'll give me what I want. Where is that Obama's, what is our wife, the wife? Where is the Michelle generation? You see, one time, Obama takes Michelle to a restaurant, and the restaurant was of the former boyfriend of Michelle. And so Obama makes a comment and says, you see, if I didn't marry you, you would be the wife of this restaurant owner. And Michelle waits, wait a minute. If you didn't marry me, this restaurant owner would be the president. Meaning that she's the one that is inspiring people to be president. Where is that mindset? Where is that mindset that somebody can drive? Where is the vigor? If we don't have people that are visionary, if the women don't understand that now, people don't want somebody that is not a contributor. Unfortunately, it is the generation in which we are living. People don't want somebody that is not a contributor. Somebody must understand that if I'm to put in you my money, I will be able to also get worthy ideas, get worthy opinions, get worthy advice. If you are still operating in that coolie generation, my likes, my looks are my wallet, that is the outdated generation. There are very many men today who are very handsome and are marrying very ugly women who are productive, who have capacity to build them. I want to sit with somebody. If I sit with you for 1 hour and all you are telling me is non-constructive, I pity you. There should be an idea that comes out of it. What about, have you ever thought of going to a restaurant and offering guys something to eat? No, it's not possible. How do I start? It's the mindset. The mindset problem we are dealing.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I want to thank the panelists for those wonderful questions. They are so inspiring. I've learned a lot from Bishop's answers. We have come to the end of our youth talk show. Let me allow the servant of God to pray for us as we close.
Let us pray. Father God, I want to thank you this day for your power of revelation. Lord, we are in a generation and we are in a time where confusion, crisis, and conflict is the order of the day. There is a conflict within many of the youthful people. The intra-conflict and the ultra-conflict. A conflict from within themselves. And they are trying to find out who they are. Take them out of that identity crisis so that they discover who they are. And the conflict with their past. A conflict with what tormented them. A conflict with what humiliated them. And there is a battle. There is a war going on. My God, raise a standard so that thy people may find solace in who you are. So that thy people may find strength in who you are. We also pray for the inter-conflict, conflict between person and person. Father, be the mediator. The Bible says you have given us the ministry of reconciliation. Let there be reconciliation in families. Let there be reconciliation in the community. Let there be reconciliation among workers. Let there be reconciliation in the married fraternity. Let there be reconciliation in ministry. Let there be reconciliation in friendship. Let the strongest take the step of apology. Let the weakest give in to the apology of the strongest. We are praying for a Uganda that requires a peaceful resolution of matters. We refuse the common bloodshed that is taking place because a country that pours its blood pours a curse onto the land. We pray that that curse will be eradicated. We also pray against every form of crisis. We pray against this COVID-19, which is a disease that is paralyzing the normal order. We also pray that the youth in this studio today will arise and be able to be ideological, that their opinions will inspire others, that they will be able to relay what we have spoken here with others. In that way, they will build the network of intelligence, the network of reasoning, the network of creativity, the network of innovation, the network of talent, the network of ideological mindset that will bring about development, resourcefulness, increase. And God, all wisdom belongs to you. You are the giver of wisdom. Separate the wisdom of the world that James spoke about, which is sensational, which is retrogressive, and bring forth the wisdom of God, which is empowering, which is developing, which is building, and grant each of them success. See through the struggles of the students, the struggles of the youth, the struggles of the conflict areas, crisis areas, all these struggles, see through them and bless the people of God. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Thank you so much for tuning in. I remain Masike Compulsory, your host. Until next week on Saturday, may God bless you all. Shalom.